Okay, so our first problem says a new car is purchased for $153,300. The value of the car depreciates at 14.25% per year. What will be the value of the car to the nearest cent after 6 years? So when we're doing exponential growth and decay, we always use the same equation. It's f of t is equal to a1 plus r to the power of t. And what this stands for is this is my total at t time. So whatever my t is, that's my total at that time. My a is my starting. So whatever I start with, so starting value. My r is my rate, but I always read that as a decimal. So if it's as a percent, I've got to divide it by 100. And t is my time. Okay, so for this problem, I have some givens. My givens are that the car is $15,300. So my givens, I know the car is $15,300 when I buy it. Okay, I also know that it depreciates at a rate of 14.25% per year. Okay, so that's all I've got in order to write my equation. So now that I've got that stuff to write my equation, I need to see where they go in. So if this is how much I bought it for, that's telling me that's my A. Okay, and then my rate is going to be my 14.25%. But remember, I can't leave it as a percentage. I need to get it to a decimal. So in order to get it to a decimal, I've got to take my 14.25 and I have to divide it by the most amount of percents that I can have. So the biggest percent I can have is 100%. So I'm going to divide them out. So I have 14.25 divided by 100. And I got 0.1425. Okay. The other way you could have done this is you could have moved the decimal point over 2 places. Okay. Once I've got that, I'm ready to just plug in the stuff. So I know my f of t is still f of t because it didn't tell me to use something else. I know my a this time is 15,300, but remember, don't use a comma anytime we're using Desmos. I still have my 1. I still got my plus. Okay. Oh, and this is a depreciate. So that means the value goes down. So instead of it being a positive 0.1425, it is a negative 0.1425. And it's to the power of t. Now, I have this equation. I can simplify this if I want. And to simplify it, all I would do is I would take this part right here and I would combine that and see what I get. So if I do that, I'd have 1 plus negative 0.1425, which gives me 0.8575. So my final equation would be f of t is equal to 15,300, 0.8575 to the power of t. Now, I didn't answer my question yet. So the question said, what will be the value of the car to the nearest cent after 6 years? So this time I know I got 6 years. Okay, so instead of putting this into Desmos with a T, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into Desmos with a 6 for T. 0.875, 575, power of 6. Now, if I get rid of this part right here, it will actually do it for me. So the value of the car at 6 years is 6082.69727735. Now it said the nearest cent. So this is where the cent cuts off. And I look at the 7, and the 7, it's 4 or below, let it go. 5 or above, give it a shove. So because the 7 is above 5, I'm going to shove it. So after 6 years, the car is worth $6,000, $6,082.70.